Good afternoon, Sales Academy followers, listeners, YouTubers, podcasters, tweeters, threaders, everything in betweeners, lurkers. You know where you are. As thank you for listening, tuning in, sharing, and supporting. Today's musing. Now, this is an interesting one that takes me back to my very early professional sales training days, and something that we regularly revisit, not just in sales training, but in everyday life and coaching and conversations. Because it carries across a number of realms. And I want to kind of unpack that a little bit and open that up with us today to give you some thoughts to kind of take away. And then I'm going to challenge you to get in touch and have a conversation about what comes up for you, right? So let's just talk about the subject. The subject is compared to what? Compared to what? Now, this is a brilliant phrase that we would kind of teach people in, and we still do in sales training, because objection handling is one of the points of sales, right? Understanding and getting comfortable with objections, and then learning how to overcome those objections, to have conversations as a good human being, not to manipulate, not to do the tips, tricks, and gimmicks and shit, but to simply look at it and go, oh, hang on a sec. You're asking me a question which is compared to what? So this normally follows when somebody says, how much is that? Or how much is this? And you give them the price, which for a lot of people is still a shock, because salespeople predominantly apparently still don't give prices, which is just crazy. Now, even if there is a range of prices, still give a range, right? But don't hide away from the price. Don't try and, if you don't know, then you're not confident enough in your price and products. That needs practice. But fundamentally, if somebody asks you the price, like the Sales Academy for business coaching, it's straightforward. So how much is business coaching? Starts at £99, goes up to £400 a month for a solopreneur, solo business owner. Our team products start at £400 a month and go up to £1,500 a month. So it all depends what you need, what you're looking for, and that's what we'll discover as we get talking. But the price, I'm not avoiding it. I have no need to. The prices are all over my website. I'm proud of my prices. They work. We set our prices up to be affordable at every stage of business. People go up and down our escalators. There are no contracts. This stuff is important to us, right? So if somebody, say, for example, somebody asked me a question, how much is a team coaching if we did all the strategy stuff? And I'd be like, that's £1,500 a month. And their response is something like this. Oh, that's a bit expensive. Now, at that point, my head goes, compared to what? For no other reason than I've got no idea what your comparison is. But if I fall into the trap of thinking, well, I need to justify my prices, I need to potentially drop my pants because all that stuff, I don't even know what your reference points are. So compared to what? Because a 5-bedroom house in Malibu, £1,500 a month is cheap as anything, right? So I don't know what you're comparing with. And that's a key part of understanding this. So, but it doesn't just come into sales. And this is why I wanted to unpack it a little bit. It's like, my wife put up a post yesterday, a gym post, and it was a really brave post for her to put up, because the process and the challenge and the changes she's going through, and I'm exceptionally proud of her, and I love her to bits for doing it. But there's an accountability message in there. There's all sorts of stuff coming out from that post. But predominantly, she was talking about the body that she no longer wants to have and other things. And it's like, there's a huge comparisonitis in the fitness world about, you're seeing mums in the gym and dads in the gym and people putting, weights in the mirrors and all this sort of stuff. I remember Arnie saying, leave your phone in the locker, just go in the gym. But there was this brilliant kind of thread and thought and feeling that I got reading that post of who's back been comparing herself to and why? Do you know what I mean? So is this compared to what? Is my body okay compared to what? How do I look? How do I feel compared to what? Are we comparing ourselves with other people? Are we using the compared to what as an excuse for our own behavior and our own results? Are we using it as something to hide behind? There's an interesting thought. All right. So, I can never achieve that. And this happens a lot. People say things like we talk about a new piece of software, coaching call this morning, talking about a software. And initially, because they've never used the software before, there was an instant, oh yeah, I don't know if, that feels pretty hard. Hard compared to what? Compared to 22 years in business? Compared to never knowing how to do God knows how many things you've had to overcome in that time? Compared to what? So it's a really powerful question that starts to change our thinking. And it was also, and there's a video I can, if you search up Dave Gammon, so he's a business coach, And I love this guy and respect him dearly. And Sixth Sense Business Coaching is his business coaching business. And there's a YouTube video that he did years ago about compared to what, which is all about value. And he actually gives the single best description of value ever heard for me personally. And I'll put a link into the video in the comments, right? It's a brilliant video. And I challenge Dave to almost redo that video and in fact, no, just change the name of that video and repurpose it and put it out there to what is value, the best description of value ever, right? Because he does it from an emotional point of view, but a grammatical point of view, and he explains the value, the definition of value in the other person's eyes. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it for you. You've got to go and watch it. But he starts off with a conversation of compared to what, and it was somebody that he went to see, and he gave him his coaching fees, and then they were like, well, that's quite expensive, and he was like, compared to what? And while he was reflecting, he was looking out the window and he saw the Range Rover and stuff, and it was like, compared to the price of the Range Rover. But one of the things he actually asked, which I thought was really, really powerful, was compared to what? How is it expensive compared to choosing to stay as you are, compared to choosing to do nothing for the next 5 years? Oof. Now that lands a bit differently, right? So when we're asking the compared to what question, I challenge you to ask it of yourself as well as other people. So if you're finding something hard, this is really difficult, compared to what? Dig in to yourself and your own resilience and your own self-esteem and your own confidence and your own ability to overcome the things that you've already overcome in your life so many times. Right? The stuff that you didn't know, but once you started, you got better. You know, we start at level 1 and we're looking at level 4, level 7, level 10. We're trying to solve problems, level 10 problems, when we're at level 1 of knowledge and experience and understanding. It's insane when you think about it like that. But we do it all the time as human beings because we go to the how every time. How do I do this? How do I do that? So if you're starting a new weight journey, a fitness journey, a new business, if you're starting a new marketing strategy, if you're looking at a new piece of software that you've never used before, it's going to be confusing. It's going to be tricky because you've never done it. If you tried to climb Everest today, you wouldn't get a base camp in one go. You wouldn't expect to. It takes weeks of climatizing and base camp 1, base camp down and back down, base camp 1 and back down, and then base camp 2 and then back down to 1 and then back down and then so you're constantly climatizing. You do all that for 15 minutes on the summit maximum. And coming down is more dangerous than going up from a blood level oxygen point of view. So all of that preparation and work is getting you to get on top of the world for 15 minutes max. But we'll expect that if we were going to climb Everest. So if we're starting a new business or if we're starting a new goal that we're working on, a personal goal, we want to get fit or active or whatever it might be, or like walking up the mountains with the guys on a monthly basis. And I missed the walk on Sunday. But I remember the very first walk I went up, I got cramped partway round. And that was because I wasn't drinking enough and I wasn't conditioned enough and I wasn't strong enough and stuff. And that was a challenge to me because I wasn't comparing myself with the other men on the mountains. That would be an ego state. I was comparing myself to my own ability and I needed to work on that. I needed more time on my toes. I needed to get fitter. So then I needed to look at, well, what's my why to getting fitter? Is it just so I can walk around the mountains without getting cramp? Is it that I can just be more active or less out of breath and stuff? And yeah, those things carried a bit of weight. But what really hit for me was I want to be fit enough and active enough to be able to roll around on the floor playing with my grandchildren when they arrive. And that's a biggie for me, which is what led to massive changes in my business life and personal life and everything, because I was not living that life. I am now. So now when I go at the mountains, I set my goals as I've progressed with that time. And one of the things was I was always at the back of the pack. And sometimes going up really steep hills, I still am. But I'll go at my pace. I'll compete with myself. I won't have many conversations going up the hill because I'm struggling to breathe. But I will literally, my goal is to be in the middle of the pack, not at the front, is to be in the middle of the pack. And there's one key reason for that. And I found this personally, that when we're in a group walking the mountains, if I'm at the back of the pack, by the time I get to the lunch stop, the people that are at the front of the pack have already been sat still for too long. And it's not good and not healthy, and it's dangerous for them to be locking up their muscles and stuff on a mountain or getting too cold when we're at the top or whatever. And yes, we get out of wind, but do you know what I mean? I never really had the time to enjoy my lunch because I was always getting to the lunch stop late. So a personal goal for me was I need to get fitter and more active so I can get to the lunch stop at least in the middle so I can enjoy my lunch. So my fitness has improved because my why was big enough. So I was comparing me to me. I was comparing me to my previous stories that I was telling myself that I couldn't do it. It was too hard. I was letting myself off the hook. So compared to what carries so much weight, if we allow it to, so much potential if we allow it to, so much opportunity if we allow it to. But it can also be the thing that just keeps allowing you off the hook. It could be the thing that keeps allowing you to just compare yourself to completely and utterly. You're comparing apples and pears. You're comparing yourself, your business, your state, your position, wherever you are, with something that's so out there in comparison to where you are. And you only have to look on social media for this stuff. The constant comparisonitis that's going on with social media accounts and the influencers and this, that, and the other. It's kind of non-stop. And we're, you hear the term doom scrolling and all this sort of stuff. But it's like, where's it showing up for you? Where are you comparing to? So think about the question, compared to what? What are the things that are influencing you in your lives? Where are you comparing yourself to unrealistic expectations of yourself, your position, your knowledge, your experience? Where's that really showing up and where's it hurting you? Because it's going to be if it's unrealistic expectations. And how do we set better expectations, better goals? How do we help you compare you with a better version of you? How do we help you with some of those steps? Because that's all it is. It's one step forward every single time. And that might be one step a day, one step a week, but you're moving. So get in touch. Let's have a conversation. Compared to what? Where's it showing up for you? Where's it blocking you? Where can you be better? Where can you be happier? Cool. Speak to you soon, guys. Enjoy that one. Take care.